You're listening to Ask When, the podcast. Folks from all walks of life talk about their daily hustle and bustle, living and celebrating life, sharing tips on becoming champions, especially for those who are muscling mental and physical disabilities. Ask When, the podcast, with your host who has mustered over 30 years living with cerebral palsy and going strong. Author and cerebral palsy advocate Wynn Charles. Ask When, the podcast starts right now.
Welcome to Ask When, everyone. This morning with me I have Brian, and Brian is sitting across the pond, also in lockdown, which makes me feel better because people are heeding the warnings of coronavirus. And so I'm going to let Brian take it away and explain more about what he does. So welcome, Brian.
Hey, and thanks for having me on the show today.
Well, you are so welcome. And could you please explain to my fan base more about what you do?
Yeah, sure. So essentially, I'm a speaker, author, and core of what I do in my day-to-day work is helping CEOs deal with the rising pressure and the shadow side of their success. And to kind of put that into perspective for you and what that means is if you think about success, generally people tend to focus on the positives. They think of the money, the freedom, all of the kind of opportunities and recognition. But what most people don't kind of notice is for a lot of business owners and CEOs, they're under a tremendous amount of pressure to perform and deliver. They have to look after their teams, they have to keep their customers happy, they have to be focused on continuing to grow the business. And for a lot of people in that position, their days are essentially putting out fires and helping other people solve their problems. And that's a huge weight to be carrying around constantly, which for most CEOs, they'll bottle it up and they'll show the outside world that they've got everything figured out, whereas actually they're going through their own inner turmoil and battles. And that's why I essentially come in and help them really upgrade their brain power so that they can perform at a higher level, they can work faster, they can think more clearly, and they can erase the stress that comes along with their position.
I understand that, and you are my hero for doing that because I just became a solo entrepreneur myself, and so you are my hero for doing that because solo entrepreneurs now in this day and age need help.
Yeah, completely. I think there's a big shift in the kind of market and how people are starting to view it. Because many years ago, especially with social media, a lot of entrepreneurs had the mentality that they had to put on this image that they had everything together, that they had it all figured out. And it was very much, if you look at kind of like Instagram and all the other social media platforms, they put up this highlight reel, and a lot of it's an act because they don't want to show that actually they're under a tremendous amount of stress. They're massively overwhelmed with juggling all of these different projects. And if the reality is, for a lot of them, they're only human. So there's only so much they can take.
Yeah.
So I think it's great that there's a big shift within the market that people are starting to recognize there's nothing wrong with asking for help. If anything, it's a strength, not a weakness.
Now, as I said publicly, it's okay to ask for help. And you guys may be thinking, oh, Wynn, you have a disability. You have all the rights to ask for help. No, I have a disability. I just do what I can to ask for help. And so what Brian's trying to say is it's okay for the able-bodied CEO to ask for help too.
Yeah, exactly. I think all of us need to recognize that we all need help in different ways. And regardless of what that is, there's nothing wrong with asking for it.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. And so, Brian, if you had to move house and could only take three things, what would they be?
That's a good question. I'd say probably my laptop, because without it, I couldn't run my business. Actually, no, I'd say my dog would probably be top of that list. My laptop and yeah, my girlfriend would probably want me to include her in that as well. I don't think
Yep,
she'd be too happy if
yep,
I left
the
her behind.
dog, the laptop, and the girlfriend. And so, what was your morning routine and your morning rituals pre-coronavirus and post-coronavirus?
Honestly, it's pretty much exactly the same. I've been working out of a home office for the last 5 years. So, with everything kind of going on, life hasn't really changed that much in regards to kind of like my work day. But the morning routine tends to wake up around 7:30. I'll take a few minutes to kind of stretch, have a cup of coffee, do some kind of mental preparation for the day ahead. I'll sit down, I'll plan my day, work out exactly what I need to be focusing on. I'll look at what challenges might come up, what issues I need to address, what needs to be made a priority. Then I'll take a little bit of time to take the dog for a walk, which obviously now I'm a lot more limited on with this kind of current crisis, but in the past there'll be a kind of central theme, and then kind of get back, work out what's the big focus, and then get my day going. So, to anyone kind of listening, the biggest thing I find with morning routines is a lot of people pressure themselves to copy some guru, feeling like if they
Nope,
just do what they do,
don't
that'll
copy.
like be the secret to success. Whereas the
Don't
big advice I
copy.
can give to anyone is find what works for you. There's no right or wrong answer, but regardless of what it is, planning and preparing is absolutely essential.
Yep. And so, if your best friend was going to write a book about you, what would the title be?
Ooh. Um, I'd like to think it would be something based around empathy and compassion and kind of wanting to help other people, because that's the core reason between why I do what I do on a day-to-day basis. I can't think of an exact title, but I would wanted to include that kind of theme.
Yep. And so, um, what is your favorite book, and what is the title of it, and why is it your favorite book?
My favorite book right now that I'm kind of reading is because I'm doing a lot of kind of focus on marketing and kind of branding and everything else. A book by Russell Brunson called Expert Secrets. That's something that I've read a couple of times. I'm busy going through at the moment, which is all about building a following and showing up as a leader. So I think for anyone kind of looking at building a business and a marketing and especially doing social media, I'd say that book is a must read.
And so, where can people find you, and where can people get a hold of you if they want to work with you? And what are your niches that you are working with? You are working with any CEO or CEO in a specific industry?
Generally, it's kind of any CEO or business owner. The majority of the clients that come to me are in the financial industry or marketing industry, but I do have various clients from everything from like the legal sector to technology. So in that regard, we don't really specify one specific industry. And the easiest place to contact me is either on LinkedIn. If you search for Byron Morrison, I put out daily videos and guides and tutorials and just content to help people in running their business, or to check out my website, byronmorrison.co.uk.
And do you have any questions for me as we wrap this interview up?
I think one thing I'm really interested about is someone who's looking to start their own kind of podcast and really focus heavily on that. Is what have you found has been the biggest lessons you've learned from getting your
Oh
podcast
boy.
up and running?
the biggest lessons I've learned is how I know now, and I'm actually speaking this weekend, you guys. And after you guys hear this, this will come out. You can probably watch my speech um, somehow, some way. I will get a copy of it and post it on my website. But because I know the organizer, and the organizer will give it to me. But the biggest lesson I've learned from hosting not one but three podcasts, is this being my main one, is that without the power of the podcast, I wouldn't be talking to amazing thought leaders like you. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Because if you want to pick someone's brain for a half an hour or 20 minutes or 30 minutes, they won't go, they won't let you in the door unless you say, I have a podcast. I had a person just the other day who I'm trying to get on this podcast say, come back to me when you have at least 20 episodes. And I said, oh, Alex, I have 1,300 and, well, more than that now. And I have 1,300 episodes that you can go through. And he goes, well, hook me up then. So these big CEOs are wanting to make their time valuable. And without the power of the podcast, I wouldn't be doing what I would be doing. And I am a motivational speaker because of it. And I am a thought leader in the world of cerebral palsy. I mean, people are now looking to me in the world of cerebral palsy because I'm the only woman that's doing it.
That's awesome. Like, it's amazing that you've kind of found your path and you're using kind of your own journey to inspire other people and help them as well.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So, I will be using my journey until I die. Essentially, I will be um when I can't do this anymore, then I will give it up. But for the time being, I will keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. But and then if I get to the point where I become like Stephen Hawking, I will modify my plan. But so far, so good. I mean, I have moderate cerebral palsy, and I am trying to inspire people to put one foot in front of the other. And I didn't realize that my inspiration would be one foot in front of the other during a time of economic need slash a global crisis. And I didn't realize that I was going to be a motivational speaker in March. I thought I was going to keep my day job until May. And then I thought I was going to slowly transition, not quickly transition, into being a solo entrepreneur slash author slash motivational speaker.
That's awesome. Like, I think that's a really big lesson for anyone listening to this is you never really know where you're headed. It's just all about trying new things, putting yourself out there, and then just enjoying the journey. Because I find for a lot of people, they hold back or they feel like they have to have it all figured out. Whereas it's just try something new and then it just evolves and grows like it has for you, which is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So, give people your LinkedIn again, just in case they want to go find you, and give people your website again. And we'll have all of this information in the show notes, but I want to make sure that you get all the clients based off of this podcast that you can get.
Yeah, sure. Like I said, the easiest place to follow what I'm doing is to check me out on LinkedIn. If you search for Byron Morrison, and my website's byronmorrison.co.uk.
So yeah, if you guys search on LinkedIn for Byron, that's gonna be the easiest place. And if you guys search for me on LinkedIn, Win WINC, as in C, but that's the only wonky social media handle I have. The rest of it is Win Charles. But if you LinkedIn me, Win Charles, that's gonna be the easiest place to find me, and I'm all over the place too. So just be aware that I'm willing and able to help to the best of my abilities. And for those of you who are struggling with your own life decisions right now, and I know a lot of you have lost jobs, so that's why I'm bringing coaches on, and that's why I'm keeping this podcast up and rolling, because I know a lot of you have had to make life decisions, and it's going to be very interesting in the next couple of weeks here. But we'll just keep one foot in front of the other, you guys. That's what I ask. And if you are wanting to make the leap to solo entrepreneurship, ask Brian for his advice or ask me for my advice. And I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode of Ask Win. And I will catch you guys later. Bye, you guys.
You just listened to Ask Win, the podcast. To become a guest in the show, visit our website at askwin.weebly.com or call 816-591-3399. Just look for Danielle. Connect with Win on Twitter at WinKellyCharles and like our Facebook page at Butterflies of Wisdom. You can also purchase Win's book through Amazon.com or get a copy of the audiobook through Audible. Ask Win, the podcast.